Hi, my name is Dr. David Newman, and welcome to Rose Heart Hypnotherapy Success Centers in Jefferson City, Missouri. You're here because you're interested in the brain, and hey, the brain is my playground. That's what I do day in and day out. You see, I'm a certified clinical medical hypnotherapist, and my specialty is working on extremely difficult cases. These are cases that are referred to me by psychiatrists, psychologists, clinical licensed social worker, MDs, and DOs. Basically, the reason that they're referring their clients to me is because they've got a client that they cannot get any better. They may have progressed up to a point, but now they're either plateaued or they're actually regressing back. So they send them to me. One of the things that I have learned to use in my practice, and one of the things that is quickly becoming one of the most profitable areas, is teaching neurofeedback using the brain and the brain waves to tell me exactly what's going on with the client, and then teaching them how to use this technology and procedures to benefit themselves in their own lives at home. And yeah, guess what? We got a way to track it so we know if what the client is telling us is what they're doing is really what they're doing. What can I say? It goes back to the old thing. I trust exactly what you're saying, but I'm going to verify it. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get started and take a quick peek. Now, this first little MP4 that you're going to look at is the picture of a client's brainwaves that's not in hypnosis. This would be in normal attention. Okay, as you can see over to the side, we have letters. Those letters correspond directly to the upper left-hand corner that says delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. Let me tell you what these are. Okay. The beta is your attention. That's your focus. That's the area that we're at most of the time when we're in our waking or working type situation. Alpha. Alpha is where we go when we daydream. However, we go from beta to alpha, back to beta, back to alpha, okay, off and on. Delta. Delta is a place of highly suggestible. This is the spot where you'll go actually when you're in hypnosis. And the quickest way to put yourself in hypnosis is be in front of a computer screen for 20 minutes or more, or be working on your phone nonstop for 20 minutes or more, or a pad, a tablet, whatever. The pulsing of the screen will actually put you into a state of hypnosis. We go in and out of hypnosis multiple times every day. It's nothing to be worried about. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something to know and to understand. Okay? Theta. Theta is an area that you go into when we use hypnosis for therapeutic reasons. Okay, if the person is highly suggestible, if they can visualize, they're visualizing things very, very clearly, and this really is the area that we want you in for a therapeutic benefit in hypnosis, where we can vent out the knowns that are negative, and we can get rid of those, and we can implant positive knowns that we have all agreed upon that you really want. And then we have the gamma. The gamma is something I'm absolutely in love with. I'm doing more and more research on gamma, specifically in spiritual progression and regression. The gamma waves are where people go when they suddenly go into a very, very spiritual mindset. Buddhist monks, when they meditate, they go into heavy gamma. Catholic nuns that we've looked at their brain waves and analyzed, when they're deep, deep in prayer, very spiritual, they're in heavy gamma. That gamma will actually rise and rise and rise, and it'll be far above where you're seeing alpha at right now. And when I say far above, I mean way above that. So that's a basic understanding of the brain waves in normal activity. Now, how can you use this information to your advantage? If you have a client that's coming to you, for example, with test anxiety, you put the EEG device on them and you simulate the test. Or just have them imagine, visualize, picture, pretend, or perceive that they're taking that test. You'll get the exact same results. You'll see exactly where those brain waves go. And what will happen is the beta will probably go off the charts. Alpha will be lower, delta will be way low, theta and gamma will also be way low. But let's take a little picture here of a person that's in hypnosis, just so you can see the difference. Okay, so I want you to remember what this brainwave scan looks like right now. And now we're going to go into a person that is in hypnosis. And if you notice, their delta is highly elevated, Alpha is coming up, but it's down towards the lower side. Theta is up, and gamma is going up even higher. This is a person that is in a highly suggestible state, and this is oftentimes where we'll find children and young adults and students. When they're studying, when they're really cramming hard for a test, they put themselves into hypnosis and they don't realize it. So what happens? Well, they go ahead and they have all this information. It's there in hypnosis. The problem is when they take the test, they're not in hypnosis. Okay? So the only way for them to get the information is they have to sort through everything that they know, and oftentimes with the anxiety of the test, which tests are designed to be in a stressful situation, the person just simply forgets. And yet, as soon as the test is over, they've turned in their paper, they walk outside, suddenly they're flooded with all that knowledge. Okay, why? Well, because the person has left a very stressful area, moved back into a non-stressful area, and now they're able to access all that information. So the real secret of using brainwaves in your own private practice is to find the exact areas that your client wants to work on and then amplify the positive brainwaves to help them get that done and minimize the ones that aren't being beneficial. As we continue, this is the picture of a client that's taught to use their brainwaves with simple self-hypnosis. This is oftentimes considered almost a meditative state because in self-hypnosis you can't go as deep as what you would do in therapeutic hypnosis. So you notice that the beta is elevated. The alpha and delta are also elevated, but they're going back and forth. It's almost like they're playing tag. But you also notice that you're not seeing any real gamma activity whatsoever. As a matter of fact, you're not seeing any at all. It's not even registering. This is very, very typical. Okay, are there ways to get a person to elevate the gamma through self-hypnosis? There is, but those have to be taught, and that's not really what we're here today to talk about. My job is to give you an overview of how you can use brainwaves in your own practice. What we're going for is a way to verify, to know exactly what the client is doing. We happen to use the Muse. This is the Muse headset. This is a research quality EEG. It's very simple. It just goes on the forehead and behind the ears, just like this. And we get those readouts, the same readouts that you saw. Okay. Well, now a client has their own Muse that they've purchased from you, or they've gone to choosemuse.com and they've purchased that Muse. What we have is we have the ability, as the therapist, to go ahead and to track their Muse sessions. And that's exactly what this is. This happens to be my own, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. No HIPAA violations here. And what you notice is the time. Then birds. Well, what do birds have to do with brainwaves? Well, when you're in a state of very, very calm, using the Muse and using the apps that are free with the Muse, one of the triggers that it teaches you is when you calm your mind, you hear birds. This measures exactly how many birds were there. Recoveries are when my mind has wandered and I was able to bring it back into calm. Okay, so that's what we're watching there. We can track that. But while this is nice, this is better. This is showing me the actual raw data, and I can see exactly what happened, okay, and how they pulled themselves back in. Now, this will take you a little bit of time as a therapist to get used to seeing, but it's nothing hard. There's not a big learning curve on it. What we're going for is this. This is what's called bilateral, and this is where the client is using both sides of their brain simultaneously, very, very quickly. This is the same ability that a child has that is below the age of 7 to 8. Okay, they're what we refer to as highly suggestible, but this is how children are able to learn so quickly. Both hemispheres of their brain are working at the same time, and they're passing information back and forth much, much faster than what we're able to do as adults. So that gives you a brief overview on how you can use brainwaves and brainwave patterning